Welcome to the NCAA Division I Women's Basketball Championship post-game press conference featuring Michigan. We'll hear from head coach Kim Barnes-Rico first, followed by student-athlete Nas Hillman. We'll now begin with an opening statement from head coach Kim Barnes-Rico and then go to questions.
Well, I thought that was a great basketball game tonight. Baylor's obviously one of the top teams in the country, and we had them on the ropes. Actually thought we had them for a period of time there. We put ourselves in a position in regulation and in overtime to win the game. So just really proud of our team. We persevered through a tremendous amount this season and had an opportunity to beat the national champions tonight. So it's tough. We have a great group of players and a great group of seniors, and it's tough to end the season tonight.
We'll now open it up to questions. Use the raise hand function to indicate you'd like to ask a question. We'll go to Doug Feinberg, AP.
Hey, Coach. Good to see you.
Hi, Doug.
Congrats on a wonderful season. You look somewhat emotional there. I can't tell completely, but I'm guessing it was not obviously a happy locker room. Just talk about what it was like this year, with what you went through, and to put the defending champions on the ropes and probably be one possession away from reaching the Elite Eight for the first time.
Yeah, our season, and even from last March, all the way through today, we didn't know what tomorrow was going to bring, and we had been put on a number of pauses, university shutdowns, COVID, and it just felt like all through the year, one thing after another thing was being thrown in our direction. But we had such a tremendous start, and we had such a positive group of young women that really I felt so great about them. I was hoping that we would have the opportunity to be in the position that we were tonight, because I felt so confident about them, and just our experience and our maturity and how we handled every single thing that was thrown our direction was absolutely incredible. And I don't know, if I've ever had a team like this, and I felt really good about them. And Doug, even you and everybody else out there that, doubted us at so many times, or, we said disrespected us at so many times because we hadn't played enough games, or, because we were shut down on pause again, or because we had another student athlete that was out with COVID. Pretty much, we were thrown into every difficult situation all season long. And if the rest of the country didn't see that we're one of the best basketball teams out there, I don't know what you have to do to get that kind of respect, but just proud of our team. It's really hard because, when you're the underdog and you're always playing, the Baylors and the UConns and the Stanfords of the world, and you get in a position to win the game, man, that's going to be a tough one. It's going to be a tough one to get over. It's going to take a long time.
We'll go to Brad Galley.
Hey, Coach. Justin Rose from Channel 7. The emotion obviously is running high. Can you take us into that locker room just now with some of those girls that have battled through all the things that you just kind of mentioned?
Yeah, this is the kind of team that they are. They're looking at themselves, and Danielle Roush, I mean, she just has stepped up to everything that's been thrown our way, and she's saying, man, I made a mistake here, and man, I could have done this, and man, what if I did this, and oh my gosh, if I had that possession back. So they're just winners. They're winners, and their character. And I mean, even, Mulkey came up to me after and just said, I never saw a team that played that hard and that played for each other and with fight and never quit. And obviously we're led by an All-American in Nas Hillman, but the pieces that were around her and the confidence that they all had around her was incredible. So they're devastated. They're distraught. They knew the moment was theirs, and we thought we were going to be able to get it, and we really felt confident that we were going to be able to get it. They were confident. They were confident coming in. Everybody doubted us from Florida Gulf Coast. I mean, nobody thought we were going to win that game. Then certainly not playing the SEC in Tennessee, certainly not winning that game. And then Baylor, the national champs, not winning that game. But everyone in our circle believed that they were going to win the game. So it's definitely emotional when you coach for a long time and you get a group of young women that have that belief and that confidence and that camaraderie. You have something special. So it's hard to say goodbye to this year's team.
Go to Steve Kornacki.
Hi, Kim.
Hey, Steve.
Can you put into words what Leah Brown did in this game? I mean, a lot of players did some fabulous things for you, but what she did was really a notch above. Put into words what she did for you today.
Yeah, and I talk about it, all the time. When Leah called and wanted to come here, and she said, I just want to, I love watching you guys play, and I love watching your team, and I want to be a part of that, and I want to play with Nas. I want to be surrounded by Nas, and when Nas draws so much attention, that opens things up for Leah, and she's just such a competitor. She has ice in her veins. She missed 39 days in the middle of the season. 39 days. So from January, whatever it was, 8th, she didn't come back till February something. And we were still competing and persevering and going through everything without her. And you guys see how special she is. And we held our ground, and other people stepped up. Every time we lost somebody on our team this season, the next person stepped up. And it was like we never missed a beat. We never missed a heartbeat. We never missed anything. And now Leah's back to playing with a lot of confidence and, such a dynamic 1-2 punch with her and Nas. And so many teams just focus on Nas that it really opened things up for Leah. And she's an incredible player. She's a competitor. I love her. Her teammates love her. And she's pretty distraught because, she knew we had this one too.
Go to Angelique from the Detroit News.
Kim, I was just wondering that last sequence, if you could take us through that, what you wanted to see from that, that last shot.
Yeah, I don't even know which one was the last shot. Was that? I mean, there's so many last ones. And do you mean the one with 0.9 seconds?
Yes.
Okay. So we thought originally they told us we were going to have 1.1 seconds on the clock. So we drew something up for that to get a 3, and then we found out, later that it was going to be 0.9 seconds. We ran a stagger screen. Leah got a shot. I mean, she got a shot. So we just ran her curling off of a stagger screen to try to get a shot. And she had a look. Obviously, it was short. It was deep. It was short, but that the game didn't come down to that second. I thought our kids did a fabulous job of executing down the stretch and getting the shots that we wanted. Also being able to make plays, but really getting the shots that we wanted down the stretch. I mean, we were down 7 late in the fourth quarter, and we were able to execute stuff out of timeouts, out of dead balls, and make extra passes and make great shots. So, even till the end, our kids were really confident that Leah was going to get that shot and be able to make that shot.
We'll go to Lily Israel.
Hi, Coach. It's Lily Israel from the Michigan Daily. You just touched on the last shot of overtime, but can you touch on the last shot in regulation? How was Nas able to get so open there?
We run state. What did we run? Yeah. I think, obviously, and you guys, see this a little bit. Nas draws so much attention. So our whole game plan is wrapped around Nas getting the ball, but people take that away every single time with 2 people, with 3 people, with 4 people. So it's so important that you're able to knock down shots around her. And in the first half, we weren't able to do that, but our confidence continued in the second half, and that gave us the ability to knock down some other shots. And when you knock down some other shots, then Nas gets a little bit of space. So I think they had to pay attention to Danielle, who had made a couple shots, and Haley, who had made a couple shots, and Leah, who had just made a shot, and that gave Nas a little space. I mean, all she needs is a little space, but she rarely ever gets a little space. And thankfully, we were able to get that at the end of the game. I mean, everything we run through Nas. And obviously every team in America knows that. So that was once again tonight, and people do a great job of taking it away. But she was able to get that touch late.
Go to Ethan Mark Sears.
Hey, Kim. Ethan Sears, Michigan Daily. You were talking about kind of the adversity this team has faced and, obviously getting a little bit emotional. I wondered just kind of what does this team and to have a year like this kind of mean to you?
Yeah, when everybody comes to play at the University of Michigan, their goal is to win a championship. And most teams at the University of Michigan have won a championship. But the fact that Michigan women's basketball hasn't is what drew me here and what made me leave my life of 40 years because I believed in Michigan and I believed that we could create something special. But it doesn't matter what I believe. We need players in our program that believe the same thing, players that could have gone anywhere else in the country and chose Michigan because they believe that they could come here and they could make a difference, and they believe that they could come here and they can win a championship. And those players, you saw those players tonight. I mean, Nas Hillman, she could play anywhere in the country, and she's an All-American. She's one of the best. She chose Michigan. Haley Brown, another player. Leah Brown, another player. You can go up and down our roster, but they wanted to come to Michigan to create something incredibly special. And what they were able to do this year, when we had to battle so much adversity. I mean, we played the last 3 games without our point guard, who's amazing. She's one of the best I think the best point guard in the country. We played without her, and they played for her, and it was the next person up. And that's kind of what we've done all year long. So when you get a group of people that believe in something and believe in each other the way that this group does, you have the opportunity to create something special. And they created something special, and it's something that we'll never forget. But anybody that's listening, you go back and you look in the records at Michigan women's basketball. And, what they were able to accomplish this year is pretty incredible. And we had to face some programs with some rich tradition this week, and we battled in every single one of them. So I just think it speaks volumes about these kids.
We'll go to Ben Rosoff.
Hey, Coach. I just want to know a little bit about your seniors, Haley and AK coming back for that extra year, and both have had great postseasons, and especially AK stepping up today. I'm just curious what their kind of mood was like after the game and what they've brought for you this entire year and their whole careers at Michigan.
They're 2 incredibly special young women. And, Haley Brown, she's a Canadian kid, another kid that, could have gone anywhere, decided between Duke, Florida State, and Michigan. And those are 2, programs that have reached the pinnacle of basketball. And she decided to come to Michigan. And since she has stepped on campus, we've done nothing but be successful. That is, a large part of that is due to her. She deserves credit for that. So, this year with COVID and everything else, she wavered. She wasn't sure if she was going to come back. Her family couldn't come across the border. There were so many times she hasn't seen her family maybe once in the last year. So the sacrifices that she's made, because she told me, Coach, something keeps drawing me back here. Something keeps drawing me back. I feel like we could really have such a special season, and I don't want to regret that for the rest of my life. So I'm going to sacrifice, and I'm going to sacrifice seeing my family, and I'm going to live by myself, and I'm going to socially distance and stay away from COVID as best as I can. And she has done all of those things. I mean, I had a coach say to me at one point this year, well, why are you worried about COVID? Haven't all your kids tested positive already? And I was taken aback because no, not every one of our kids has, and that's really hard to do. The sacrifices that you have to make, because it is so contagious and it's so prevalent. You really isolate yourself. And I've had 3 young women that have lived by themselves this year, and they haven't tested positive for COVID, and they've sacrificed so much. And Haley was one of those people, but we would not be here today without her. And it can raise another one. I mean, she was super nervous about COVID, nervous about playing through COVID, not sure about coming back, not even sure about coming back the 5th year. This is a kid that suffered through 2 ACLs. When she got back from her second ACL, she broke her hand. Her first 3 years as a player at Michigan, she hardly played. Most people, I mean, if you watch anybody nowadays, they transfer. If you don't play immediately, you're in the transfer portal the next day. This kid stuck with it and persevered. Wasn't getting playing time at all and became one of the best defenders, arguably the best defender in the country. If anybody could take anything away, and Kim said this to me as well, is our defense was ridiculous all tournament. Against Florida Gulf Coast, who averages 15 threes, against Tennessee, who scores the basketball, and tonight against Baylor, who scores 100 points a game. So, and Kenray leads that defense. She leads that defense. So without our seniors and their experience and their maturity, some days we would come to practice and we get to the circle, and every day we'd say, we don't know what tomorrow's going to bring, because that happened to us last March. And there were about 3 or 4 different times this year where tomorrow was no tomorrow, and we were shut down. And when we're talking shut down, we're not saying, hey, go to the gym and you can have practice, or go to the gym and you can put your hand on the ball. Our university was closed, and we were in isolation, quarantine, not allowed to leave our house in the middle of our season. And then come back, and here you go. Now let's play. Upon return, let's play Iowa at Iowa. Let's play Maryland. Let's play Northwestern. Let's play Indiana after a 1-day turnaround from Michigan State. That was our schedule upon return from a 2-week pause. And then we weren't recognized, as a top team in the country. I want anybody else to do that. But our kids, they kept fighting, and they kept plugging along, and they kept believing in each other. And here we are today. So, yeah, I can't speak enough about our seniors. Sorry. I think I talked. I'm done. I talked enough. I think I talked till it blew up. Okay, thank you.
We're now joined by Nas Hillman, and we'll begin this portion of the press conference. I'm just going to reset the hands and then raise your hand if you have a question for Nas. We'll go to Maxwell Wadley.
Hey, Nas, Max Wadley from the Michigan Daily. What's kind of going through your head right now? You guys started off with a historic 10-0 start, first Sweet 16 in program history, to lose to overtime against Baylor. What's kind of going through your head right now?
That's a great question. It's like right now thinking about, everything you could have done different in that game to get the win. You think about, the seniors who won't be here next year. You think about all the ups and downs of the season and how far we've come and how far we could have gone if the outcome of this game was a little bit different. And to think of all of those isn't, just to run things through your mind, but brings a bunch of positive memories that we've had throughout the year. And, you just think about, the special moments that you've had, with this team, since it won't look the same next year.
Go to Steve Kornacki.
Hi, Nas. What did Kim tell the team in the locker room? What was her message to you?
Yeah, so she really tries to do the 24-hour rule, so she doesn't say too much. But she talked about our seniors and how much they've meant to this team and this program. You guys talked to her a second ago, and she just talked about, how it was tough for both of our seniors to come back with COVID and the 5th year and everything in between. And then she also talked about how special this group of girls were this year. And something along the lines of, not ever having a team like this one. And, how proud she was of us and how thankful that all of us came to the university. She spoke about that a little while ago, and like as much as she's upset about the loss, just so thankful for this year and each and every single person in that locker room.
We'll go to Lily Israel.
Hey Nas, this is Lily Israel from the Michigan Daily. You played all of 2 minutes the entire game and with 3 and 4 fouls for most of the second half. Physically, how were you able to do that? And mentally, like, how were you just able to keep going?
Yeah, I think physically, we've prepared for this all year. Practices are tough, and sometimes they're long. So, going into that overtime, we were just, kind of saying to each other, this is the second hour of practice. We've done this before. We grind it out every day in practice. When they get long and hard in preseason or in the middle of the season. And mentally, we just kept saying, empty the tank. I mean, obviously for now, there is no tomorrow, but, if you don't give 110%, there won't be a chance of a tomorrow. So that was our goal in mind. We wanted to get to the next step. We could have, if we pulled this one out, we could rest tomorrow or the rest of the night. You don't come this far and say, I'm tired. It's a mental state of mind, and we really believe that. And my teammates were behind me, bringing a ton of energy. And, in that moment, you just want to win. Tired isn't the thing you're thinking about. You're thinking about defense. You're thinking about your next offensive move. You're thinking about getting a rebound. So, we've been prepared for this all year long.
Go to Angelique with the Detroit News.
Nas, Kim was saying that no one really respected this team going into the tournament. Certainly didn't think you'd beat Florida Gulf Coast and not an SEC team, and then not Baylor. What does this tournament tell people about Michigan?
Yeah, it tells people that, we are a tough team and we come to compete. And we've believed that all year long. I mean, there's been a lot of outside voices, and we talked about how they can sometimes get inside, but we've never allowed that to do that to us. And even if we felt like we did, we were able to regroup and talk about believing in the people in the circle. And I think that's the way that we played throughout the years, playing inspired, playing for the people who weren't on the court, playing for the people who are on the court. And for other people, whether they believe it now or not, I mean, we're a tough program. And we're going to play our hearts out every single night, and we're going to bring energy. And we're working towards championships. That's why I came to Michigan. I mean, I wanted to go somewhere where I could help build a program and win some championships. And this has been a special team, having a lot of firsts. But now it's time to make seconds. I mean, we've got a long ways to go, as the season just ended, and we have to redo this all again next year. But we're a program that's coming to compete, and it's not going to be an easy program to just step over.
We'll go to Nicholas Moen.
Hey Nas, you guys had 18 turnovers today, had some big ones in overtime. How do you think turnovers as a whole affected the outcome of today?
Yeah, I definitely think they played a part. Some of our turnovers led to their easy transition. Definitely something that we wanted to limit, not in this game, but we've been trying to limit our turnovers all year. If you go back and look, we've been heavy on the turnovers throughout the year, and in most times it's not helping us be successful. But there was a lot of things going into that game that didn't help the outcome, but definitely turnovers not helping us because, like I said, Baylor got some open, easy transition, and that's something that they really want to do to get easy buckets.
Go to Abby Telgenoff.
Hey Nas, Abby Telgenhoff from the Michigan Daily. Leah Brown really came alive in the second half for you guys, trying to kind of spark some offense. And then, she missed some key shots late in overtime. But overall, what'd she bring to the game today for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, all of you guys see the offense that she brings to the floor. Like Coach spoke on a little bit earlier, when I'm drawing a lot of attention, her eyes light up. She's ready to go. She's not afraid of the moment. She's not afraid of the spotlight. And she takes over any chance that she has the opportunity to. But she also brings a toughness. I mean, there's no quit in her. there's no quitting just and everybody on our team, but there's really no quitting her, and she wants to be a winner, and she wants to do anything that she can to make us a successful team, and that's why she came here. And I mean, she's a tough matchup for anybody, and I've seen it all year long. I mean, 3-level scorer, defender, trying to get in there for rebounds. So she brought a lot to our team, and I'm sure everyone would just look at her box score and the type of numbers that she put up. But her toughness and her aggression and her fight is another thing that she brought to the floor tonight.
We'll go to Ben Rosoff.
Yeah, Coach mentioned, obviously you guys don't have any deals through this tournament, and Coach kind of mentioned you guys were playing for her. I'm just curious if that was on your guys' minds and how you missed her at this tournament, and whether she'll be proud of what you guys displayed here in San Antonio.
Yes, that is something that are on our mind before each of the games that we played. We broke it down with playing for her. And, that's not unfamiliar territory for us because we've had some times where our teammates weren't here. Coach talked about Leah not being here earlier in the year, and, a couple of other people went down. And that's just, for us, it was playing inspired basketball because we know those people would want to be on the court with us, would want to be giving us energy, even if they couldn't physically play, at least being on the bench. So she was in the back of our mind, and we know that, she's super proud of us and wish that she could be here. But, we all stepped up for her, and that's been a key thing this year, next woman up. Being able to play and being ready to play whenever your number is called.
Our final question will go to Lily Israel.
My question was answered.
All right, Nas, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Congratulations on the season. That's it for today's press conference. A recording of it will be available on the NCAA Digital Media Hub at www.ncaa.veritone.com. Thanks for joining us.